did you have to make you think of using her as your the idea for making that
Inspiration.
your inspiration? That's what I'll say. I'm lost with words, but yeah. But what's your inspiration, and how did she affect you in your life growing up?
Well, first of all, make us great again. Make us G great again. So that's what the acronym is for. And it just so happens that this lined up with the inspiration that we received from our grandmother. The reason why was because growing up as a child was a pretty rough childhood. Grew up in a situation with a stepfather, stepmother. Didn't know my father until I was 18, and so there was a lot of darkness in my childhood. And whenever I went to my grandmother's house, um, she was always very, she always smiled, she always laughed, and I always saw her as something that was, she was full of light. It was her house was an escape from all the darkness and trouble that I was going through being raised in the type of household that I was raised in. And so it was when I went to my grandmother's house, it was a safe space. She always had good things to say.
What about the candy bowls she had? She had candy bowls.
Yeah, I mean there was always
treats,
food, a lot of food to eat. She was always telling us stories. My grandmother was around a lot of important people. She lived in the rural part of Rochester, New York, and she had a big backyard, and we could go play. There's a canal that goes from upstate New York down to New York City, and we go play in the canal, and sometimes you have fond experiences from certain people in your life, and they impact you.
Why was that important in your life to have that, to have those memories? Why is it important, especially as indigenous people, when we look back at our broken and very kind of desolate, dark lives sometimes some of us grow up in because of a lot of the things that have happened generationally, and abuse and a lot of dysfunction. Why was it important for you to have that memory? Like, why is that so,
Yeah, well, because when you get into dealing with the complicated parts of your life, you're always looking around for those people who inspired you from a wholeness, from a not only wholeness, but from the word I'm looking for is
a place of, like, she was
wholesome.
Yeah.
Very wholesome. From
Yeah.
a very wholesome place. People that were genuinely on your side and trying to find the best way to inspire you to be the greatest person you could
right.
be.
She always promoted us to do that. She was like, I need to get a big house, because we got into a business later on. Me, the oldest three children, Enoch, Amel, and our older sister, we got into a business, and she would always say, I want to just get you guys a house. You can work on your business and we'll watch the kids when we had kids. So she was always looking for ways. I remember one time she put, I was first place best of show in Royal Oak, Michigan, a pastry competition when I first became a pastry chef, and she actually cut that page out, put it, she laminated it, and she was always making sure that every achievement that we had, she made it, more than just the achievement. She celebrated our wins, and she always, like you said, even when she was upset with you, she still smiled and gave you a hug afterwards. So even the it was punishment, but even the reprimand was out of love. And so I think that's very, very important in our communities when we have so much trauma, that we have those people in our lives to really celebrate us as children, as young people, so that we can be great. So that's the biggest part, I think, for us to understand what Muga means, is that we don't want a situation where we're always looking for someone to say, you're a good person, or you can make it, or you're going to be great. We need that in our family. We need somebody in the family should do that, and we need to promote that. So that's what we're trying to do with our presentation. We're trying to make sure that we understand and be grateful for the things that we have, the people that we have in our lives, and we become those people for others.
Yeah, and it's not about trying. This is what we are doing. You know, so so that is important to keep that. I think a lot of people would find that there were elders in their background who were selfless in terms of the way they dealt with you. You know, whatever you need, you know, however we can help you. You know, they weren't necessarily judging you. They weren't necessarily trying to, you know, be some type of tyrant over you. It was just from a genuine place in
Exactly.
their heart.
Yeah.
They wanted you to. They wanted to see you in the best place that you could be in, whether you were going through relationship issues or trying to find a job or work. My grandmother used to send me articles of different political things that were happening, Malcolm X, and you know, stuff that was going on in the news, and you know, she talked about her past and the different things that she went through in the struggle for you know,
Justice.
justice and the things that they were dealing with in her time. So that's something that we're losing as generations move forward,
Mm-hmm.
and having a safe space. We understand that being a moral person allows you to have a safe space, not judging people based on pushing them away, but you know, inspiring people to be able to stand on their own 2 feet and be the best that they can be.
I just had a question, Enoch, because I was thinking about what you're saying. How detrimental is it for us to judge people, you know, our elders, especially, or we're kind of elders to our young people? How detrimental is it for us to have the trauma and then someone else come along and say you're not doing stuff right and look how you're doing this, and kind of always being too strict with you and not letting you explore yourself? How detrimental is that for all the things that we're talking about?
Yeah, I mean, everything has to be done in good judgment, and it has to be done with love. You know, and when you say love, people tell me all the time, man, I love this person so much I couldn't be with her, or you know, I love a parent may say that they love their child so much, and the child ends up not really reaching their potential. So, you know, love is having positive, as one author that I read a book by Chris Voss called Never Split the Difference. He says having positive regard